You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Today's show is sponsored by Dr. Jacalyn. Take charge of your life personally, financially, and professionally. Visit drjacalyn.com to book an appointment today.
Good evening and welcome to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, live here on Business Talk Radio, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. Hello to our friends out there listening and to those on social media watching. Our program is all about bringing you leaders and role models in their field who bring hope and inspiration and also share stories of overcoming adversity to get to where they are today. I have a special guest with me today from Houston, Texas. Her name is Zane Carson Carruth. Let's bring her on to the program. Hi, Zane. It's great to see you.
Hi, it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
I am thrilled that you are here. Zane is a published author. She has 3 books that we're going to talk about. She is also an expert in etiquette, which that is really something that the world needs for sure. And she's also on several boards, and she's just a lovely, wonderful person. So Zane, you and I got connected through RVN TV. Actually, you had done an interview there about your book. And I was really thrilled to reach out to you to learn more. And you introduced me to Diann Floyd, who's not here right now. She's supposed to be joining us. But anyway, let's get right into it. How did you get interested in writing children's books?
Well, I'd always loved to write, as a young person in school. And one day I was just at home waiting for my daughter to come home, and I picked up a spiral notebook and just started writing. I had no idea what the story was going to be about, but I always loved fairies, and I loved little, pretty girls with, petticoats and all that. So the story wrote itself. I kind of thought, well, this could be about the tooth fairy after she got kidnapped by the bee and saw the little kids. So I didn't know what to do with it because that was like 25 years ago. Self-publishing was not a thing, and it was very expensive to have books published. So I just put it away, and then I went to Charleston to become a certified etiquette professional, and the lady had written a children's book about etiquette. That's all I could focus on. So I just put laser sharp image about that the rest of the time. And I talked to her about how she did it, and she gave me some tips. And I enjoy self-publishing. It's a laborious process, and you have to have absolutely no quit in you at all because it's a lot of work. But it's worth it because when you learn so much, and you meet so many neat people, and you build a great team around you to help you, illustrate and edit and spell check and do all of that. So it's a great process. I've enjoyed it.
And you're really good at it. I'm going to bring up an image of your book cover, but for those who are listening, can you share with us the titles of your books?
Yes, it's a trademark series about the tooth fairy, the world's first tooth fairy, little Bella, the tooth fairy, and her best friend Darcy. They have a lot of fun adventures, and they are total opposites. Bella's real outgoing and loud and fun, and Bella's very quiet and reserved, and they complement each other. So it's a wonderful friendship. And so the first book was how the tooth fairy tradition started, quite by accident. And then the second book was Bella Gets Her Magic Wand. And that's a fun book because it just shows the deep value of friendship, because with the Bella and her wand, she made some mistakes and, was kind of beating herself up about it. But Darcy jumped right in and reminded her of all the good things she did, which I love that when people, help you not to feel bad when you're beating yourself up.
Yes.
And then the last book is Bella Starts a Tooth Fairy School, because everybody says, where do tooth fairies get their money? What do they do with their teeth? How do they know where to find the teeth? All in the book. No questions after you read all 3 of these books, that you'll be fully caught up till the next book.
And I've read your first two books. I haven't read the third one yet, but I'm looking forward to it. And they're beautifully illustrated as well.
Yes, I have a guy out of India who does those, and he is so patient with me. It took us months to get Abella's eyes just right on that first book. And every once in a while, he'll slip a different artist in on me, and I have to go back. No, she's not. That's not what she looks like. Back up, give it to the real guy. But yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I think the guy does a tremendous job. And my husband's so funny. He goes, "Well, I think the illustrations are the best part of your book."
How did you feel about that?
Well, you got to take compliments any way you can get them.
That's for sure. And it's so interesting. I don't have any children, but I do remember when losing a tooth and you would wait for the tooth fairy. It was such a great, secret that, the tooth fairy was going to come and visit, and how is that going to happen? So I love the fact that you've written books about it. And I love the new one, which Abella starts a tooth fairy school. So without giving away too many secrets, is the substance of that is that she's going to teach others how to be.
Yes, because everybody wanted a tooth. Because, in Tulip Hollow, where they live, you can use those teeth for anything, to build buildings, the roads. There's numerous uses for those little white curly teeth. So everybody wanted one. So she was like, whoa, I need to start a school, and I'll train everybody. And then they can go, just gets this whole army of tooth fairies out there. So, and it shows you one fun thing, I think, because they asked her in the school, they go, well, where do we get the money? And I love this. She goes, look out that window. You see that? Money grows on trees in Tulip Hollow. Just go get $1 off the tree. So a lot of kids don't hear that expression anymore. Money doesn't grow on trees, but
yes,
all the adults who read the book will know what that means.
My father used to say that to me as well. Zane, I want to give people the opportunity to call in at any point during the show. Right. So our number to call in is 631-730-5468. Zane, let's talk now. We'll come back to your books. I have some other things I want to ask you about, but let's talk now about being an expert in etiquette, as certified as an expert in etiquette. What does that mean?
Well, I've always been fascinated by etiquette. I mean, as a little kid, my nickname was Emily Post because, it's rude to correct people, but I just couldn't help it. To this day, I'll walk in a restaurant, and if I see someone with elbows on their table, I kind of go, Oh, and yeah, try having 2 little grandsons around. They're so sick of me by the end of the weekend. But no, I just think that, beautiful etiquette, it's just something we need in life. And then business etiquette, you need it to have a good business relationship, because some things that are accepted in the United States are totally not accepted in other countries. Like China, for example. You don't talk about children because it's such a horrendous subject in a lot of ways. And so you don't want to just sit around talking about your kids and say, what about you? How many do you have? And, they might have been living under the time when they were limited to having one or anyways. And those are things to know, and just kind of gives you an edge up. Plus, like I like to work with, women trying to get women getting back, or men getting back into the workplace. Maybe they have been at some sort of shelter. Well, walking into a room full of people and having a good business etiquette background, it gives you the confidence you need to maneuver that room, because you know how to extend your hand for a handshake, kind of where to stand. When you walk in a room, where do you look? It gives people a lot more confidence to navigate unfamiliar territory like that. And I'm not even talking going out to eat. That's just another whole ball game. But just the regular, not crossing your legs, not crossing your arms, not showing the soles of your feet, to certain countries. There's just so much to it we don't know, but they do know in the other countries. And you want to be the one person who does things right. And and it doesn't take a lot, because I have a service that I will give a white page. Say you're going to go, I don't know, let's just say Saudi Arabia. They probably have a lot of rules. You can say, I'm going to go to Saudi Arabia. What do I need to look out for? And I have services that tell me, what the security is like there, what to look out for, what not to look out for. I mean, small things like pickpocketers, no pickpockets. And then I'll write a white page on things to etiquette-wise that matters to them, that you want to avoid to do, or you want to try to remember to do. So it's just helpful to give you, like I said, that confidence when you walk into that meeting, or maybe it's a real close decision between you and somebody else. It's nice to have that in your back pocket. It's just good etiquette, because I notice things like that, and I know other people in other countries, they do too. But I have this funny story about my husband. Okay, as you know, I've made that point clear. I'm about etiquette. Well, we were at the airport, and he goes, I'm going to get something to eat. And I said, okay, well, I'm going to keep getting my steps in. So I went to walk, and I came back, and I walked up from behind him. He had both elbows on the table eating ribs.
Oh, no.
I looked at him, and his eyes got real big. I didn't know you were coming back so soon. Anyway, I did. Maybe I'm sending too loud a message there. But that just tickled me so that he took that so seriously, me running into him. But good for him.
I think we've all been in business meetings where somebody made a goof that they shouldn't have. They should have known, had better etiquette, better knowledge of how things are done. But especially when you're traveling abroad, there are things that we definitely don't know. And so the services you're providing are so valuable. I have some more questions about that, but we're going to pause to take a break and hear from our sponsors. Yeah. So stay with us with Zane Carson Carruth. We will be right back on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn.
Hey everybody, my name is Ralph Graves Jr. I'm the host of the Ralph Graves Jr. Show, and I want to invite you to pick up my book, Unstoppable. I wrote a book called Unstoppable. It's 7 universal laws that will transform how you pursue and achieve success. The one thing that my 20 years of law enforcement has taught me is that no matter who you are, we are all governed by universal laws, like gravity. But in this book, we're going to talk about laws like the law of forgiveness, laws like the law of control, the law of intelligent practice, the law of expectancy. I was able to see how those, no matter what their background was, those who identified and treated these laws with respect, they were able to go on and lead successful lives. So pick up this book, and you can go ahead and pick it up at Amazon.com, BarnesandNoble.com, RalphGravesJr.com, where anywhere where fine books are sold. Thank you.
There are 7.7 billion people on Earth today. 40% of these people are under the age of 25. Young adults are the most fertile mission field in the world today. In Scripture, we see Jesus pouring his life into 12 young adults who he equipped to change the world and all of history. Like Jesus, we believe that the best approach to reach the world with the gospel is to invest in young, emerging leaders and equip them to build disciple-making movements. Concentric is the notion of surrounding and sharing a common center. Our center is the model and strategy of Jesus for both leadership development and ministry formation. As a global alliance, we provide equipping in biblical leadership based on Jesus' example in the New Testament. Jesus modeled for us how to make disciples that reproduce. Focusing on leadership development is key to creating movements that spread the gospel and Jesus' disciple-making strategy to young leaders around the globe. Our Ministry Alliance partners are actively equipping leaders and building movements of multiplication that reproduce the life of Christ. Join us today to equip young leaders with Jesus' strategy that will change cities and nations.
The session that we had with BCAP was really entertaining and enlightening. We were able to put together some very specific steps that we as individuals can take, and it was really fun to all come together and see sort of where we're going as a team and how we can all get there together.
We had a tremendous experience with the BCAP Partners. One of the challenges that we have as an organization is to make sure that we have the right people in the right chairs doing the right thing. To do that well, you have to have synergy. You can try to dream up ways to make sure that your group does that, or you can rely on experts. We would recommend BCAP Partners to anybody who's looking to take their organization to the next level.
Academy Sedan and Limo is a full-service transportation company serving the Philadelphia metropolitan area with full knowledge of the New York City, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. areas. We pride ourselves on being the most dependable, conscientious company in the industry. Our always on-time service and dependable pricing make us the company to call for any event or occasion. Our vehicles can accommodate any size party for any occasion. Our vehicles range from four-door sedans to SUVs to minivans to limo buses to full-size tour buses and can accommodate groups of 2 to 100. We offer airport shuttle service or over-the-road service without limitation regarding mileage or time, and no drive is too long or too far. So if you find yourself in need of transportation of any type with any vehicle, give us a call at 610-842-4564 and let us show you what a real transportation company can do for you.
Use code ACADEMY2020 to receive 20% off your first 3 rides, including parking and tolls.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn, live on Business Talk Radio, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. And welcome back, Zane. It's nice to see you.
Thank you.
Zane is a published children's author, and she is also an expert in etiquette. And we were just talking about etiquettes in terms of when you travel and you're interacting with people from other cultures, having the knowledge of knowing what's appropriate and what's not. And we also heard a funny story about your husband. So Zane, a question for you. In this COVID environment where we are on our computers day and night, yesterday I was on for 8 hours in a row on Zoom calls. What about the business etiquette, personal etiquette that is involved with a whole new way of going to work?
You know, that's a very interesting question because times have changed. They really have. And our dress code has changed. And I think you just have to be, when you're on these Zoom calls one after another, you have to be very considerate of other people's time. You know, you start on time, you end on time. You allow everybody in the group to talk, because sometimes you might be on a Zoom panel and you don't want to, monopolize the conversation. And it's just common sense stuff that we kind of forget because it's a different world that we're living right now.
Absolutely. And we actually have a caller from New York. We have Ashley from New York. She's on the phone with us. Ashley, welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you?
I'm swell, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Oh, what questions do you have for Zane?
I want to know, is it proper etiquette to lift your pinky when you're drinking something elegantly?
That's a good one.
You see it done a lot with like a teacup. Yes, it's proper etiquette. You just, if that's comfortable for you, that's fine to do. Yes. Why did someone tell you it wasn't? Because it is.
So it is?
Yeah.
It sounds like it is. It's the way to
hold your teacup. Right? It's like it's just an automatic thing. I just didn't know if it was like.
People kind of associate that more with the English way, but yes, you see that. See that like with wine glasses or teacups or coffee. Well, not so much a coffee mug, but a coffee cup. Yes. Why do you do that?
I do.
Have you gotten called out on it?
Yeah.
Well, now you know what you can say, right? You're in the know.
That's right.
You're ahead of the game.
That's terrific. Any other questions, Ashley?
No, that's really it. Thank you for taking my call. I appreciate it.
Oh, my pleasure.
Thank you for calling in and for supporting the show. We really appreciate it. Have a great evening, Ashley.
My pleasure. You too. You too. Thanks.
Thank you. So that was a question that didn't pop into my head right away, but definitely something that you wonder about, because sometimes you see people doing it and other times they're not. So it's good to know that that is proper etiquette.
Yes, that's, there's nothing wrong. I thought she was going to say lick your pinky, but I thought lift your pinky. Oh, that's fine. Don't
licking the pinky might be different. And by the way, I want to mention to our friends on social media, if you have a question for Zane, you can put it in the comments and I will read it to her and she can answer it. So we were talking about the pandemic and what it's like now and proper etiquette, people dressing for the part, people showing up on time. What about the fact that something that we really can't control when we're living with other people and they happen to walk behind us? Or, I mean, I've seen some really interesting things. A guy came out of the shower in his towel. It's like,
well, at the beginning, people didn't think about that, but I do think we're all a lot more aware of that. When you know your partner, spouse, or roommate is on a Zoom call, you have to know where they are.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. They have to remember to mute it in case, you're talking in the background, but yeah, it's a different world. It really, really is.
It definitely is. But there's always something to learn from change, right? So at least that's how I look at it.
One thing that we just recently experienced, everything is about wearing masks, which I totally support. Well, my husband and I were at a meeting, and this is a group of people, they're big huggers. They see each other a lot. And, I started out with my mask, and then I thought, nobody else has their mask on. Well, then I found out one of the big huggers came down with COVID. So just keep wearing your mask. There was one lady who would not take her mask off, and she said, I'm not taking it off. So I thought, and I thought of her. So I thought, good for you. So I had to go get tested yesterday. My husband got tested.
Oh, wow.
And, I see people kind of relaxing a little bit on that. Valet people are starting to park your car again when they didn't do that before. So you're seeing some relaxation, but that was a good lesson for me that, and this guy supposedly got it from his wife, but it doesn't really matter.
Right.
He was the hugger. He was the one without the mask. And and this is just a big hugging group. So I think we all learned something from that.
Absolutely. I just want to give the phone number again, 631-730-5468. So it sounds like even with masks, there's a certain etiquette. And, there's a topic that you and I could probably, in terms of etiquette, go on for hours. But the etiquette of dating, I think, is something that I am literally speechless about, especially as a single woman. I'm just shocked at the lack of etiquette and some of the things that people do on dates. So I'm actually in the process of looking to start a show about that. So I will.
Please have me on. I'm very opinionated. I was single for 24 years before I met my now husband. We've only been married 7-8 years. But yes, if I would say some guy would come pick me up, and I'm really excited. This is great. Get in his car, and it's like, oh my gosh, when was the last time you cleaned this out? I never went back out with him. No, guys, clean your car. Wash it, clean it out, and open the door. Seriously, guys forget. Now, my husband to this day will still open the door for me, and if he forgets a couple of times, I'll remind him.
I'm sure that you will.
Well, it becomes habitual, and I just don't want to get too far from that myself. And my daughter was like that. She wouldn't go out with a guy again if he didn't open the door or the car door. Or
Yes.
Is that what you were going to ask?
Well, I was going to ask you about when you've known someone literally 10 minutes and they start touching you.
Oh, well.
Let's leave that for another time. We've got a question from a Facebook user. Thank you. Zane, do you think that workplace etiquette will change once offices start filling up again, hopefully sooner rather than later? Great question.
I don't think they'll change if they had good etiquette in place in the first place. No, I mean, I don't see any reason why it would change. I mean, maybe the dress code will be a lot more casual because people aren't used to dressing up. But maybe I just didn't understand the question well enough. But I can't see that there'd be any big change. Do you? Would you, Dr. Justin?
Well, I'm thinking maybe the person meant about masks, or the fact that if we have to be separated, is there a certain etiquette in that?
The whole boundary thing.
Yes.
That kind of. Yes. Yeah. Well, you still have to be diligent about that. When you get in an elevator, I mean, I wouldn't get in an elevator if someone didn't have a mask on. Or, and you leave your office, you put on a mask. And, I think you have to be proactive. You have to take care of yourself. Have to, because we don't want a national lockdown. We don't want the government to tell us what we have to do. We need to take care of ourselves. Just like I'm going to go see my 90-year-old mother in a couple of weeks, next week. And I told you I was exposed. Well, I'll get one more COVID test before I go because I don't want to take any chances.
Right. Absolutely. You have to be smart about it. And it sounds like that you are. I know I am too. Zane, you've written these 3 books and they're available on Amazon. Also, you just had a big announcement of where else they're available.
Yes, Barnes & Noble.
Barnes & Noble
picked them up, and I'm thrilled with that. And you can buy them on my website as well. And the nice thing about getting them from my website, I can sign them for you if you just ask me to. You put in the comments, please make this book out to, because I mail them myself. So that's nice about that. But my website is worldsfirsttoothfairy.com. And all 3 books are on there. And then I have a coloring and activity book as well. So
worldsfirsttoothfairy.com.
Yes.
That's where you can get the books. So for anybody out there who's an aspiring author, they've got this great story inside them that they just want to get out and they want to self-publish. Can you just give us a high level overview of what's involved with self-publishing?
Yes. Google becomes your very best friend. You can find out everything you want as far as getting a Library of Congress number, ISBN, how to get the code for the librarians that will, take your book seriously. Everything's on Google. Then there's also websites with professionals that are independent contractors. So you can go on like Upwork. I do a lot with Upwork. And then Fiverr, Fiverr. You can get any kind of musician. Like I think I mentioned to you, I have a little TV program now, but I needed a theme song. So I went on Fiverr. I looked at a lot of people's work and interviewed them, and then somebody wrote a cute little song, the words, somebody else did the recording. So there is help out there. You just have to allow for the time. And I have made some mistakes because I try to do things too quickly. One time I had 2 ISBN numbers for the same book, and I couldn't remember which one I got first because I was going and blowing and traveling, and so I don't recommend that. I recommend just stay focused, stay centered when you do that, because it's a tremendous amount of work. It is not for the faint of heart. Now, not to scare anybody off, but that's just the fact. But some people like that. They're very detail oriented. But normally authors are not. We're big picture people. So you have to really grind down to make sure, did I do this? Did I do that? And yeah. So that's your question.
Words of wisdom. And, I love that you just shared about that Fiverr website. Someone else told me about that. So I purchased my theme music from Pond 5. And
how do you say that?
POND 5.
Oh, okay.
And you pay for the licensing because we're over Business Talk Radio.
Yeah.
It's, international licensing. So, but this Fiverr sounds really interesting. You can have somebody custom create a song for you.
Yes, and so this lady was great, and I wasn't 100% happy with it. No problem. They'll give you 2 or 3 revisions, and like I said, one person did the words, somebody else did the music, and then the voiceover, because I have videos of my little books. I hired this great young lady out of California. And when I first got it, I said, okay, don't read it like you're reading a menu. We need a little more emotion. I mean, she nailed it the second time. So she will be my same lady or young lady for all of the books. You can just get anybody on there. Plus, they have all their work on there, so you can review it before you hire them. And you can talk to them, you know, what's your time frame? Can you do this now? Am I in the queue? That's probably what you went through with your deal. Something like that.
With Pond 5, you put in what type of music you were looking for. So I wanted something upbeat, jazzy, and then you can listen to these different clips. And all through the clip, it'll say Pond 5, Pond 5.
So you don't steal it.
You don't steal it. And then when you go to the card and you check out, then you actually get the download, which is fun. So is there another book coming? I know you just published this third one, and that was a tremendous effort. So is there another one that you've got in your head?
Yes, it's a Bella Goes to the Rodeo. Houston is we have the Houston Livestock Show and Rodeo. It is massive, overwhelming. And my husband is chairman of the board. It's a 3-year commitment. So, and I was going to write about that anyway, but now that he's involved in this, I can interview the rodeo clowns, the bull riders, you know, talk to everybody just to get some background stories. But yes, it'll be, you know, Bella and Darcy, and they're going to go to the rodeo, and, you know, they need to make some new friends. I mean, they've got more friends, but to answer your question, yes. She's going to go to the rodeo.
That was the case. I didn't know, but I thought she's got another book in there. So that sounds
I've got another one.
Well, we've got more to talk about. We're going to take another short break. So stay with us. We will be right back with Zane Carson Carruth here on Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn.
Have you ever tried to build people into a team? Maybe you've tried bowling, or ziplining, or paintball, or pizza making. These events can be fun, and they can make everybody happy for a while. But in the long run, do they really turn people into a team? Now, imagine the members of your team scattered all over the world, working from trains and airplanes, from remote offices, client locations, or working from home. How do you build a winning team when your playing field might be the entire world? With BCAT, we've created the answer. Working completely online, no matter where your people are, we turn them into an engaged and motivated team in 3 simple steps. First, we use the BCAT survey, which they can take online, anywhere, anytime, to reveal the North Star that represents their shared pride in the work they do. Next, we work with your team's leaders and stakeholders to convert that North Star into a role target, an ideal virtual person who represents your team's best self, living its best day at work. With our internet tools, we hang your North Star high in the sky, where everyone on your team can see it, no matter where in the world they might be. Then we guide and help everyone on your team in creating personal plans to align themselves with your team's North Star. We help each of them develop the positive habits that, day by day, every day, steer them closer to your North Star, aligning themselves with your team's signature dreams and ideals. And over the long haul, we offer programs and coaching techniques that help them stick to their plans. Remote team building isn't hard. It doesn't take long. And it's just as much fun as pizzas and paintball. You build winning teams around a purpose, not a place. BCAT is the answer.
Located at 121 Haddon Avenue in Westmont, New Jersey, is Margie Cedrone, artisan jeweler. Margie's been in business for more than 30 years. She works with her clients to create custom pieces of jewelry to reflect their personality and help them make their own bold statement. Starting in the renowned Jewelers Row in Center City, Philadelphia in 1988, Margie works directly with her clients to develop one-of-a-kind pieces such as necklaces, engagement rings, wedding bands, unique watches and tennis bracelets, as well as a myriad of rings and earrings for everyone in your family. She also has worked directly with Dr. Jacalyn over the years, creating unique pieces of jewelry to reflect her personality. She does pearl stringing and repairs on site at 121 Haddon Avenue. Call or text Margie at 215-384-7155. Margie Sedan Jewelry is open by appointment only. Make your own bold statement.
Ladies and gentlemen, here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
You're listening to Business Talk Radio, where we take business to the next level.
Today's show is sponsored by Dr. Jacalyn. Take charge of your life personally, financially, and professionally. Visit drjacalyn.com to book an appointment today.
Hi, welcome back to Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn here on Business Talk Radio, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, actually. Zane Carson Carruth is my guest. And Zane, I wanted to ask you, I know you are very involved on several boards and you volunteer. What are some of the causes that you're most passionate about?
That would have to be animals. We're big in the SPCA. And I have sat on the board for several years and we host the galas. But when I'm in those board meetings, I can't look at the pictures, because they'll put the pictures of those rescue. And SPCA has a huge rescue department. And yes, I think that we probably support that the most. And then I'm on a park board because I like green space. My husband's big into green space. And then the opera, because who doesn't love live performances and music and costumes? But yes, that's what I'm involved in officially.
So you, between writing the books and being an etiquette expert and then your volunteers on the board, how do you find time for all these things?
That's why I had 2 ISBN numbers on one book. My husband will come home and goes, "Oh, well, how was your day?" And I'm thinking, I don't even know what I did, but I did not stop. To answer your question is, when you have that many balls in the air, well, it's overwhelming, but it kind of maybe at the end of the week you get it all done. You look around and go, okay, look, I checked off all my list. I don't know if that answered your question, but it's not easy. It really isn't, because he loves to travel. My husband, grass does not grow under his feet.
So how's he been adjusting with the whole COVID and not being able to travel as much?
He doesn't like it. Well, we have a place in Galveston, so he goes there a lot. I don't go as much because, he likes to watch TV, horse races, ball games, and I'd rather stay here, and work. But we used to go to Vegas twice a year, up to New York, because who doesn't love to go to New York City in December? And that has been a real drain on our joy level. And we were talking about that again today, that, I got something in the email that somebody asked me something to do, and I thought, now that sounds fun. And that was probably the first time I thought that sounds fun in a long time, because, the things you're used to doing that you enjoy, getting together with your girlfriends and doing things like that, you just can't do as much.
It's so true, because even when in the remote times that I actually have gotten together with someone, very rare, you worry the whole time during, and then you worry after. Like today, I thought to myself, it's 5 days since I actually was with someone outside of my mother. So I was like, I hopefully I'm okay in the 5-day, amount of time.
Yes. Well, it gives you so much to think about. I know I went to a deal the other day, a couple of weeks ago. It was so much fun, but out of all of the ladies, and there were 5 of us, one never took her mask off because her husband is a cancer survivor. So you try to, keep your distance, and I don't know, it's just something we have to think about. And I have some friends that have not left the house. Now, we go out obviously we were exposed, but we go out to dinner and, things, but like Thanksgiving, what are y'all going to do? I mean, there's so much talk about crackdown on not doing stuff with a lot of family members.
I know for me, it'll be my mom and me, the two of us. We're a couple now. So, and that's terrific. Zane, I just thought of something in terms of etiquette, and I love your input on this because hopefully I'm not the only person who's ever done this, but I had worked closely with a client and we were negotiating this deal and there was a contract that needed to be signed. So her boss, who was the SVP, he was the one signing it. So he signed it. And this was the first time we were all going to be in the same room together. So I went up to my friend / coach / client and I gave her a big hug and she stood there rigid. And I thought, oh, that was poor etiquette on my part.
I'm a toucher. And there are people like us, you're a toucher. Some people don't like to be touched. And I've had to really, really, really watch myself on that because, I'm a patter and a toucher. And like I said, that one guy's a hugger. He exposed us all. But you do have, because there's some people that they just aren't. Now, my mother, she doesn't like to be hugged. You just don't hug her. She's 90 years old and you say, well, bye. So yes, you do have to be mindful of that, and that is something that yes, she certainly sent you a sign. She let you know.
Well, she said to me afterwards, she said, do you realize what it looked like to my boss, the fact that that you and I are friends and that maybe I was not transparent in my evaluation of selecting you and your firm? And I said, I never even thought about that because that's not the case. So
yeah, I agree with you. That wouldn't have crossed my mind. She was being sensitive about something that you weren't even aware of.
Right. That was something I guess that was on her mind. So if someone wants to reach out to you to work with you for business etiquette, personal etiquette, are you available during COVID for that?
Yeah. I mean, we can Zoom or we can talk or, and I'm not opposed to meeting in person as long as everybody wears masks and has hand sanitizers. And but yes, to answer your question, yes.
And is the best way to get in touch with you for etiquette through your website for the books?
What just my personal email is best, ZT.Carson@Yahoo. ZT.Carson, Yahoo.
Perfect. That's great.
Yeah, because you can get in touch with it through my world's first Tooth Fairy website, info, and then my Carson Marketing website is temporarily goofed up. My brother-in-law, never mind, long story. But just ZT Carson Yahoo, or you can text me. So
perfect. And do you want to give out a phone number for them to text?
Yeah, text me 713-870-1990.
Perfect. So you've got your 3 books out that people can buy on Amazon or they can go to Barnes and Noble. Mm-hmm. You've got a 4th book that's in that head of yours, and you're going to start doing some interviews over that. Any time frame as to when we can look forward to that book?
Yeah, it takes a good 10 months because one, it doesn't take me that long to write it if I just relax. But it takes a long time to get the illustrations done and then to match them up with the pages. But I also have a binge TV channel now that is taking up a lot of my time because I'm having my books turned into little videos and I have to keep producing new content. So I've got a little 3D video coming out of a Bella doing a little kindness, public service. Today is National Kindness Day, by the way. But her video's not ready. But anyway, so you can go on bingetvnetwork.com and put in World's First Tooth Fairy. And there's some videos on there now. I'm at the very beginning stages. So,
well, congratulations on branching out. That's outstanding.
Yeah, because I have so much time.
Well, I'm sure your days are full, and I've thoroughly enjoyed having you on the program. Any final words that you want to share with our viewers and our listeners, Zane?
Other than, just keep reading to your kids. That is so important. My family did not read to us, and I didn't read to my kids, but I sang to them. So they're huge into music, but it does matter. And I think reading is such a gift that you keep reading to your kids, and reading keeps you interested in life, I think, because you pick up any subject that you want to know about, and there's a book on it. So
very well said. And your books are happy books. They're good feeling books, and they're well designed. So congratulations on everything that you're doing and helping bring families together, reading to their children. That's really fantastic.
Yes, thank you.
Well, Zane, it's a pleasure having you on the show. I will see you backstage. Thank you so much for being my guest. I really appreciate it.
Well, thank you. Have a nice Thanksgiving.
Thank you. You too. And to those of you from Business Talk Radio listener world, and also my friends on Facebook and YouTube, I really thank you. I say this at the end of every program, but it means so much to me to have your support. And for those of you who are sponsors, I really put my heart and soul into this. And it really is a full-time job running these platforms and giving people the opportunity to speak. And it's what I'm really passionate about. So I thank you. And as always, if you want to be a guest on any one of my programs, please reach out to me. You can go to my website, which is drjacalyn.com. If you want to be a guest, if you want to sponsor, or if you want to have a commercial made for you to be a sponsor, our team can help create that. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And also to Business Talk Radio, to Chris, our broadcast engineer, thank you so much. He was repping my logo merchandise today, a sweatshirt and a hat. So we have logo merchandise that will soon be available on drjacalyn.com. That's all for today. We're going to close out with an opportunity for you to just hear more about being a sponsor. And please stay well, stay safe, and be kind to each other. Hi, I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. I'm the executive producer and host of the Rapping with Dr. Jacalyn programs. My programs are on RVN TV, Business Talk Radio, Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. I'm also the morning host of Tuesday Morning Coffee on RVN TV. I'd like to invite you to be a guest on one of my programs, as well as consider sponsorship. Your sponsorship can include a custom-made commercial designed for you by the Dr. Jacalyn team, or you can use one of your own commercials. You have the opportunity to promote your brand, your book, or even a cause that's near and dear to you. You can reach out to me at Jacalyn@drjacalyn.com or through my website, drjacalyn.com. Thank you. I'd love to have you on my team.